Welcome to the Squared Away Life podcast. My name is Camden Busey. I've been working through various chapters in my forthcoming book, The Compounding Mind. If you'd like to get a copy of this book, a pre-publication copy, just subscribe to my email newsletter, at least for the time being. If you subscribe at squaredawaylife.com/newsletter, you'll be able to download a free PDF pre-pub copy of this book. Today we come to chapter 8 in the book, and we want to talk about reading your past self. Now, all of this hinges on this idea that you're taking notes every day, that you're writing about your personal experience, and that you're also conducting a daily review. A daily review is a moment every day where you look at the notes that you wrote 1 week ago, 1 month ago, and 1 year ago. It's a simple practice, but if you get into this habit and if you are liberal with writing your notes, your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas into a trusted vault, a trusted place, a personal knowledge system somewhere, and you review them, there's all sorts of benefits to come. That's what this book is about. And today we're speaking about reading your past self. Now, when you read your past notes, you'll encounter earlier versions of yourself. And these encounters can trigger various responses. Embarrassment at past naivete, when you see how much you didn't know, or how confidently you held incorrect beliefs. You might experience surprise at forgotten wisdom, discovering insights you once had but somehow lost along the way. You might experience some nostalgia for past enthusiasm, remembering when you approach certain projects or relationships with energy you can no longer summon. And you might also experience regret over missed opportunities, seeing openings that you didn't recognize, or chances that you let slip by. Now, the key is reading with compassion and curiosity rather than judgment. Your past self was doing their best with the information and the resources that were available then. They didn't have what you know now. They were working with different constraints, different understanding, different capacity. So meeting them with kindness rather than criticism for what they didn't know or what they didn't do allows you to learn from the distance that you've traveled instead of just cataloging your former limitations. Now, you need to expect these emotional stages as you develop your practice of daily review. Stage 1 is discomfort. You'll probably find this in the first 4 weeks of review. The first few weeks, they often feel awkward. You cringe at past thoughts, wondering why you captured something so trivial or poorly expressed. You feel exposed to yourself, seeing your unfiltered thinking laid bare in ways that feel uncomfortably revealing, even to you. You find yourself wondering if this is worthwhile, whether the practice justifies the discomfort of confronting your own mental process day after day. But then comes stage 2. This is discovery. As you push through the initial discomfort, something shifts. You start finding forgotten insights, ideas that you captured weeks ago that now seem maybe remarkably relevant or prescient. You notice helpful patterns emerging from the accumulated notes, seeing connections between seemingly unrelated thoughts. Most encouragingly, you begin seeing actual progress or evidence that you're learning, growing, and moving forward in ways that would be invisible without the documented record. Then comes stage 3. By the 4th month, the practice begins to feel natural rather than forced. You can integrate. You find yourself accepting all versions of yourself, the confused past you, the uncertain present you, the aspirational future you, as part of a continuous journey rather than separate identities to judge. You appreciate the growth and the journey itself, recognizing that the stumbles and the uncertainties were necessary parts of your development. You trust the process, no longer questioning whether review is worthwhile, but simply doing it as part of how you navigate life. Now, eventually, you reach a stage 4, where past notes become pure data, information to learn rather than just an identity to defend or critique. You extract wisdom efficiently from your notes, quickly identifying the insights that matter and passing over what's no longer relevant. You feel genuinely grateful for past documentation, recognizing that your earlier self gave you a gift by capturing thoughts that you'd otherwise would have lost forever. Now, as you read your past self, you need to watch for recurring themes and markers of evolution that reveal deeper truths about your development. Here's some recurring themes. You need to notice what issues keep appearing in your notes across weeks and months. These persistent concerns often signal what genuinely matters to you beneath your surface level busyness. Identify which aspirations remain constant despite changing circumstances, revealing your core values and your deepest commitments. And ask what patterns need to be broken, the cycles of thought or behavior that repeat without producing growth. But here are some markers of evolution. Track how your thinking has become more sophisticated over time, the increased nuance, the better questions that you're asking, the more integrated understanding that you demonstrate. Notice which beliefs have changed, especially the ones you once held with certainty that now seem incomplete or misguided. And observe what problems no longer exist in your current notes, showing genuine resolution rather than just distraction or avoidance. You need to treat review as a dialogue with past you, your past self. Past you says, "I'm worried about the presentation next month." Well, current you responds, "It went fine. You overprepared, but that deep engagement with the material taught you things that you still use today." So the insight that you see is that I tend to overworry and overprepare, but it serves me well. The anxiety drives thoroughness that becomes genuine competence. You can learn even more about that the next time you come around. But you see how this dialogue creates an integration between your temporal selves, building self-knowledge and self-trust. You're not just reading old notes, but you're having a conversation across time that reveals patterns, that validates growth, and that develops wisdom about how you actually operate. So from each review, you can extract one pattern to acknowledge. What recurring theme, behavior, or tendency are you noticing? This might be something helpful to reinforce or something limiting to address. But also take a look for one insight to apply today. What understanding from your past notes is relevant right now? How can you use what you learned then to inform what you're doing today? And then look for also one point of gratitude for your past self. What did your earlier self do? Capturing a thought, making a decision, taking an action that benefits you now. Acknowledge the gift that they gave you. And then look for also one message for your future self. What does your current self want your future self to know? What context, encouragement, or warning would be valuable when you encounter this note weeks, months, or years from now? This ensures your review creates value rather than just consuming time. You're not passively reading. You're actively mining your history for practical wisdom. Let's get this squared away. The key principle today, past notes are conversations with earlier selves. They're not judgments. And the simple action I'd like for you to take is I would like for you to write a thank you note to your past self for something that they captured. And then make this mindset shift. You need to move from I was so naive to I was becoming who I am today and on the way to becoming who I will be tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. This has been the Squared Away Life podcast. My name is Camden Busey. This chapter has been from my book, The Compounding Mind. If you'd like to get a free PDF copy of this book, pre-publication, please subscribe to my email newsletter at squaredawaylife.com/newsletter. Thanks again for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.